Well, kia ora. It's time for New Zealand Live and a very special version of New Zealand Live. It's the beginning of a series of performances we've been looking forward to for some time. Of course, May is New Zealand Music Month. But this year, we're also marking 20 years of these Friday acoustic concerts in Studio B. It's called New Zealand Live. We do it each week. And to mark the occasion this year, I've been asking you, the listeners, to get in touch, telling us the one Kiwi artist you'd love to see perform live. And we've got some really special performances lined up over the next few weeks. So I texted and I said, text me and tell me who you would most like to see. I'm surrounded by a beautiful audience in studio. And one of them is Julie. Hi, Julie.
Kia ora.
And when I asked who you wanted to see most of all, who did you say?
I said Marlon Williams.
And Marlon Williams is here! Welcome, Marlon.
Thank you, Jesse. Nice to see you.
Nice
to see you all.
Lots of questions for you. And,
good.
But I'd love just to hear a song.
Okay, so we'll start with that, shall we?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. The song's called Awa Atura. Ko au anake ki te waka, ki te moana. Ka hore kau he matangi, ka hore he aha nei. Titiro mai, te ama. Ka tau ke atu nei, aua atura. Ka mate au ki te moana, Marie. Ka hore oku tu manako, ka hore he aha nei. Anana e, te ama. Ka tau ke atu nei, aua atura. E kore au hoki anō ki a koe, kare hoki anō ki tō kāinga e. E kore au hoki anō ki a koe, kare hoki anō ki tō kāinga e. Ko au anake ki te waka, ki te moana. Ka hore kau he matangi, ka hore he aha nei. Aroha mai, te ama. Ka tau ke atu nei, aua atura. Thank you, everybody.
Lovely. Marlon Williams performing for an intimate audience here at RNZ National, an audience of fans, getting a chance to hear and see him up close enough to touch. Guys, what do you think? Ella is one of them. Hi, Ella.
Kia ora.
Tell me about you and Marlon Williams.
Oh, we've never met, so that's a bit of a strange question to ask, Jesse. I'm a fan of Marlon Williams. I work at Radio New Zealand in the In-Depth team I do Te Ao Māori stories, and I suppose am a big fan of how you kind of experiment with Te Reo Māori, especially this new album. It's really exciting. Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Ella.
Kia ora, Ella, and thank you, Marlon. Can you tell us a bit more about And I know this album, this most recent album, has been several years in the making. So can you tell us about what makes it different and why you decided to go that way?
The obvious thing is that it's my first album in Te Reo Māori, and it's in terms of why now. I guess I've always sung in Māori my whole life. I've gone in and out of being able to speak it to very varying degrees, but never. I'm still very much at the beginning of that journey, but I love to sing in Māori, and I was lucky enough to collaborate with someone who could help me compose songs.
Because speaking in Māori is one thing, but then songwriting in Māori is something I presume completely different.
Yeah. I mean, it's musical language, as in the languages that you use in music, not musical language.
Yeah.
It's a different beast for sure. You're dealing with nothing has to make sense in the same way. You're dealing with a third dimension. So,
was it harder than you expected it was going to be?
Yeah. I mean, some songs came easy, some came out really hard, and but of course, there's always things that pop up when you're making any record that you didn't expect, and that's fine.
Can you tell us something about that first song that you played, Awa Atura?
Awa Atura, yeah. So that was the first song Komi and I wrote for the record, and it sort of had been sitting around for a few years before it sort of burst into life and kind of one main writing sitting. But it really was the prow of the waka that that cut through and let the rest of the record sort of come out.
Yeah. And what is it like to have this album out in the world, having worked on it for, I think, 5 years was the figure I saw?
Yeah, it's a little odd. It's a little eerie, It's sort of, I've been living with it for so long that you forget that it's not actually burnt out, because you've done all the lifting. So it's an odd.
Because when you said to people, "I'm doing an album in Te Reo Māori," what did the reaction tend to be?
Depends who you're talking to. If you're talking to I was talking to a fan in Germany or something, they don't even know quite what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And but and then you talk to Māori and they're like, some Māori are like, oh, it's going to be a bit of a gnarly thing to do, But there's just million people, million opinions.
Yeah. But you forget all that and you just do it because you're an artist and you're doing what you're
things.
moved to do next. Yeah. What will you play next for us?
I'm going to play a song called Ka Hore He Manu E on the piano over there.
Yeah. Not featuring your celebrity co-singer contributor on this occasion.
No Lord today.
This is
unfortunately, I'm going to have to do my best. I'm not going to try and do a Lord impression.
This is one of the first tracks we got to listen to from the album, and we were surprised to see it wasn't just Marlon on the track, but Lord as well. Really beautiful combination. And I won't ask our audience to do the bird sounds of the manu, which feature on the track either. So you're all on your own.
That'll be pretty funny.
Yeah, looking forward to hearing it.
All right. Ka hore he manu e, ka kapa I roto rā, me he manu koe hoki, rere atu ki wawa. Maua I e kiki te tautaki o te rau, he taonga te wareware, ka maumahara ke au. Hai a te marama, maringi toto miraka, tira marama atu, e kimi ake rau. Ka hore te taumaha, e pehanga no rungara, o ma ake tonu ai, ka peke a ngā matata.
E kore ki te anau e te hoa hotoki He pōhewa tonu ai I te mākaro e Hai hai a te marama Maringi toto miraka Tira marama atu E kimi ake rā Ka hore I tai au Te tuku mihi koro pai He koingo He karanga Kiari peka haramai
Beautiful polite applause for a beautiful song. Thank you, Marlon.
Very nice, polite applause. It's very very rainy day applause.
Can we pass the microphone forward to Susan? Susan, just in front of you there. Susan, can you tell us why you wanted to be in the audience today? Kia ora.
Kia ora, JC. Thanks for making this possible.
Yeah.
I've got a weird kind of almost stalky obsession with Marlon.
Don't use the S word.
Yeah, Australian, Storky.
Okay, great.
Nice.
Yeah. I first heard Marlon, I think, on RNZ, kind of out of the corner of my ear, but it was in the March 15th memorial concert that I first heard you, and I just couldn't stop playing that song and making everybody I knew listen to it, and subsequently having discovered you for myself, I don't know, it spoke to the heart, I think, first and foremost, very musically musy. So I then went on just to get tickets for myself and everybody I knew, kind of all over the country and all over the world.
You became an ambassador for Marlon.
Yeah, it's a bit scary. Like, I can't go to your premiere of the movie at the Civic, but I've got tickets for people to go. So, you know, I need everybody to love you like I do. I do in a platonic way.
Yeah,
no,
we understand.
But
Thank
it's
you.
very musy, you know.
Yeah.
It's inspiring. Words don't describe. But thank you so much.
Thank you.
Kia ora, Susan. That March 15th memorial, you know the performance that Susan's talking
I do,
about?
yes.
Yeah. And what
Yeah.
was the song?
It was a song written by the Croft sisters, who are an incredible songwriting family from Tuahiwi. It's called it's something of a Ngāi Tahu anthem. It's called Tahu Pōtiki, that one. Yeah.
Must have felt quite a emotional weight of significance performing at that event.
Oh, it was beautiful and horrible. Yeah.
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 Thank you. Marlon Williams performing for a small audience, New Zealand Live, as part of our 20th anniversary celebrations of New Zealand Live. And thanks so much to everyone who texted us in and told us who you would like to hear and who you'd like to be in the audience for. And congratulations to this small crowd for making it today. What will you do for us next, Marlon?
Well, I want to do a song by one of my just all-time favourite songwriters, Hirini Melbourne. Who's got a long and a nice relationship with Radio New Zealand.
Well, yeah, and as a Hamiltonian too, I went to school with his kids, and he used to come and visit us and do reo lessons with us.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, so
Kia ora Mahina, if you're listening.
This my album Te Whare Te Weka Weka is dedicated to Hirini.
Is it?
Yeah, I just there's something so pure about the way he wrote and approached sound and people, and it's just he just left us an absolute gift. His back catalogue should be as ubiquitous as the and in some ways is as ubiquitous as Edmund's cookbook. Yeah. So I'm gonna do his song Rongo Mai, which is a song for Halley's Comet.
roki roki nei e te whānau marama I te rangi e kia rere noa au I ngā parihau o rongo mai rere takiwa huri ai e ami o rangi Tira marama nei e Te aua hi tūroa I te rangi e Kia rere noa au I tōna puhihi Une toroa Kia mihi noa au Ki te honga wheturangi Ai o ana mai Te marino I te rangi e Kia rere noa au I te raukura O rongo mai Huri matahau Ki te hono I te rongo Ki te hono I te rongo
Beautiful work, Marlon Williams performing the Hireni Melbourne song Rongo Mai for our 20th anniversary New Zealand Live celebration at RNZ National. What's the set list looking like for the US, Marlon? What's the plan for the concerts over there?
Much the same, yeah. I'm just gonna deliver the record really.
Yeah.
As per, yeah, and see what happens.
Yeah. Well, I think of Alien Weaponry, who now have people singing along in Te Reo Māori with them at these concerts.
These
So
passionate Europeans,
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
word for word. It's incredible.
Kind of cool to take the reo overseas with you.
I'm just so impressed at how they've done that with the I don't know, just the attitude with which they've taken it overseas. Yeah.
Tell me about your sort of reconnection process. You mentioned that you've had elements of Te Reo Māori in your life forever, but over the last few years, I think you took a trip to your dad's ancestral village?
Yeah, I went up to Tōrere. Shout out to Tōrere on the Bay of Plenty. Went up to my dad's marae up there, and then went and revisited Mum's marae down south, Kaitahu land. It's been holistic in a lot of ways, for sure. It's been you can't go halfway in with these things.
Yeah. Do you feel something when you step onto a marae like that?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's hard to describe, isn't it? It's just it's an onrushing of emotion in the seat in the seat of the stomach, but it all happens there. It all happens on the marae, and everything rushes to the front when you get there.
Yeah. You talk a little bit in the documentary which came out recently. You talk about before this album, you're living a hard life as a musician. You know, you're putting a lot of energy into your performance. It's taking a lot out of you. And I sort of got the sense that maybe you felt a little undernourished, or that you felt that you needed to find a new source of fuel and sustainability. Is that part of the story there, that you that something was missing, or that you felt like you were running on empty?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a bit of a scribbly, anxious person at the best of times, and for sure, I mean, I've had a very, very lucky and wonderful musical career in life. I've been able to do all these things, but and you're always super thankful and grateful for all the opportunities that come your way. But it's important to acknowledge that that it's not a free enterprise.
Yeah.
And I think it's just there was something changed in me where I started to see it as a whole picture of things, and see life as a for what it is, in terms of time and energy and attention.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was a lot of I wouldn't say revelation, but it's just a recognition.
And did the reconnection and the creation of this album, did it nourish you in the way that you hoped it might?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, making albums. An album will nourish you while you're making it up to a point, and then you won't. You're doomed to have a falling out or a freezing over.
Yeah.
Which is, I think it's healthy. It's part of the next thing. But there are other points in which it nourished me and probably ways that'll last longer than a normal record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've created it. It's there forever now. I mean, that's the lovely thing about an album, right?
Lovely, yeah.
It's very tangible, and it's I guess it's the final output of hours and hours and months and years of work. So we're excited to have it out in the world. What will you sing for us next?
Well, I'm going to invite my very special friend Mark Perkins up on the stage. Please give Mark a round of applause, everybody.
Hi, Mark.
Mark, how are you going, Mark?
Great.
You good?
Yeah, lovely. Sounding good.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Mark co-produced this record with me, and we went and spent a couple weeks down in Haast recording it, and Mark and I have been working together for a long time on various endeavours, and it's just, I'm very stoked that he's going to come and be part of a performance of these songs that we worked on together. Yeah, so we're going to do a song called Pānaki.
Thank you. Over to you.
All good?
Yeah. Should we check this?
Oh, yeah. These kupu were composed entirely. I wrote the songs very differently across the record, and these kupu were written entirely by Komi, and I put them to music. It's beautiful waiata, beautiful kupu.
Pānaki, koko uri, ko teki teki, piki ake, kake ake, hau tapu, hau ora, mana hau titi hawa, whawhapu, umarire, mako hanoa, ai marika, anene, whakamaria. Ka tuarehe, pūpoka, kiriahi, painaina he ahuru. Whakatamahana ka o tikina, Te hore hore tau a whi haumiria Te awe ka Tōru a hine He ua I hina He ua He ua Rāua Muri muri aroha Aroha Pānaki Kokouri Ko teki teki Piki ake Kake ake Hau tapu Hau ora Mana hau titi hawa Whawhapu Marire Mākoha noa Ai marika Ānene Whakamaria Kātuarehe Kātuarehe
Marlon Williams with Mark Perkins performing with him on that song, and a small audience here at RNZ National, enjoying actually being here in the room, which I get each week, and I was just so keen to share with you. So thank you to everyone who sent us a message asking to be here, and congratulations on those of you who've made it.
Is it a bit spooky, Jesse?
Having
Is it a bit
people here
spooky
with
having,
me.
yeah. Do you like sort of,
No, I'm quite enjoying it actually.
yeah?
What I always just think how lucky I am to be this close and hearing musicians, and so I'm kind of stoked that we've made this work.
Oh, good.
Can you pass this to Julie, please? How are you enjoying the concert so far, Julie?
Well, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
I have to say it's the first time I've seen you live
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's
because I lived out of New Zealand and I discovered your YouTube videos.
Oh, nice.
So when I was feeling homesick, I'd search for New Zealand singer-songwriters and I came across your video of Who's Chasing You?
What's Chasing You?
Yeah, What's Chasing You?
Yeah.
And it just felt so familiar.
It's
and
very Kiwi summer,
yeah,
isn't it?
it was key. And I was living in Darwin, Australia, and I made my Aussie friends watch it whenever we went to their house.
I think you like the dancing, don't you?
I did love the dancing.
Yeah.
I did love the dancing.
Oh.
And I was pleased to see with one of the more recent videos that you kept the dancing in.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's if in doubt, dance.
One piece of feedback I often get during this New Zealand Live is people text me on the radio and they say, "That's not live." Like I'm pulling their leg, and you can believe that, right? When you hear that voice, it sounds like we're listening to a record.
Yeah. I do have tickets to see you play in Wellington.
Oh, great.
I don't think I'll be this close.
Well, I guess, yeah, maybe I'll get you up on stage.
Yeah. Thanks, Julie.
Just don't make me sing.
Okay, all right. I'll make you dance.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Just want to mention the album itself. Marlon, tell me about that image on the cover.
Oh, yeah. The album cover of Te Whare Te Weka Weka has a drawing done by my mother, who's a wonderful artist, painter and artist, and she drew this charcoal image of a sort of a slender man in a top hat walking up a garden path to a big 2-story villa in the night with a briefcase full of pounds sterling, and I came across it again recently. I mean, I remember it as a child a little bit, but I came across it again recently, and I've forgotten the context. And I thought it was a drawing of me, and then I talked to Mum about it, and she said, "No, that's." I mean, I just registered with the man in the drawing, and she'd done it when she was pregnant with me. So yeah, it was very sort of airy thing, but it felt right for the record.
And the title,
Te Whare Ti Weka Weka.
yeah,
The messy house. Yeah. I mean, I literally do have a very messy house. But it's, it's sort of speaking to the primordial ooze and chaos of the void from which creativity springs anew. And there's a few different levels going on there, but yeah.
And I wanted to mention this whakatauki, ko te reo Māori, he matapihi ki te ao Māori, which means...
The Māori language is the window to the Māori soul world, Māori world, yeah.
Which is a pretty good sort of, description of the kaupapa of the album, hey?
Yeah, I think it's sort of a definitely, reflects the record for sure.
Thank you for doing this with us.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah. Thank you all for coming. And what will we finish with, please?
We're going to finish with another song that was, the words were composed by Komi and I put it to music. It's sort of describe it as a sort of a junkie gospel song. It's called Huri Te Whenua. I'm just going to get my silly machine here. Hold on.
Yeah, you're all good. You're all good. So this is the first of the May concerts for the 20th anniversary of New Zealand Live, and we're really looking forward to bringing you a different one each Friday. So we won't say any more about the ones to come just yet, but we hope you've enjoyed Marlon Williams, and fingers crossed there might still be an opportunity for you to get a seat in one of these small audiences. So stay tuned for that.
This one needs if you want to do some clicking.
Well, yeah.
Not just general clicking, just in time.
Be very distracting if we just start randomly clicking partway through.
Yeah, check that.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. Cool. All right.
Te whenua, kata kata e rua, ka whakatipu mai te hua. Tipu mai ka rako pua, here here ki roto, here here ki waho makara hoka tu te ure. Waku waku te tō te kaho, tēnā ka roto haka. Mahi tonu pēnara, whati whati tonu nā. Tapoko I te oru hōponu, arukua kia tai atu ki te koporu. Ekari tonu, kai ponu ko e egere ka pe. Ena kari roto ka whakapuare, ki hai haere kuare. Ki hai haere kuare. Ki hai haere kuare. Ekari haere tuare. Huri te whenua, kata kata e rua, ka whakatipu mai te hua. Tipu mai ka raka pua, here here ki roto, here here ki waho makara hoka tu te ure. Waku waku te tō te kaho, huri te whenua, kata kata e rua, ka whakatipu mai te hua. Tipu mai ka raka pua, here here ki roto, here here ki waho makara tu te ure. Waku waku te tō te kaho.
Thanks, everybody.